when someone's giving the announcements like this, you're not going to be able to hear it. All right, and we say it, but they'll do it, and then they'll go like this. So that's kind of how it works. I'm going to turn it up a little further in just a moment. This is why. So this is in case somebody's listening. I don't know where. So Shabbat Shalom. I want those who are watching as well as those who are here to know we're doing some things in order to get things ready for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So just so you know that, I'm going to do one more volume thing. Just a moment. Also how we do it here. All right, pretty good. A little better here. Thank you. We tested lots of things, but we did not test this microphone, which we haven't used in like 3 years. So, anyhow.
Welcome back, microphone.
Yes, still made it work, but for now, this is what we got. All right, let us begin. Page 73, please rise. Baruch atah Elam Chalam, asher natan l'sefi v'ina l'fin ben yom u'ben layla. Baruch atah Elam Chalam, she'asani b'tzalmo. Baruch atah Elam Chalam, she'asani Yisrael. Baruch atah Elam Chalam, she'asani ben chorim. Baruch atah Elam Chalam, b'kiach ivrim. Baruch atah Elam Chalam, abi shalomim. Baruch atah Elam Chalam, atir asurim. Baruch atah Elam Chalam, zokef kefufim. Baruch atah Elam Chalam, b'karat alamayim. Baruch atah Elam Chalam, she'asali kot tzarki. Baruch atah Elam Chalam, she'asani gaver. Baruch atah Elam Chalam, ozer shel bigvura. Baruch atah Elam Chalam, ozer shel b'tifara. Baruch atah Elam Chalam, anoten le'ayaf koah. May be seated, page 134. Hallelujah, 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 bekodsho. Hallelujah, hallelujah, ki abuzo. Hallelujah, hallelujah, gurotav. Hallelujah, hallelujah, kerokudo. Hallelujah, hallelujah, take ashwar. Hallelujah, hallelujah, never let me know. Hallelujah, hallelujah, beto umaho. Hallelujah, hallelujah, bemini begugav. Hallelujah, hallelujah, tziltzalei shama. Hallelujah, hallelujah, tziltzalei keruah. Kol shama tehallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, kol shama tehallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. 143. Nishmat kol chai tvarech et shimcha. Lach umi yishvelach umi yarok lach el hagadol gvar nara lion k'nei shamayim va'aretz na'alel chad shpechach revech shem kodshecha k'mor l'revi brakin eshet Adonai v'chokravet shem kodsho ha'el b'tatzumotu zecha hageno b'kvod shemecha hagibor l'netzach l'nom menorotecha hamelech ha'yoshev al kisei ram benisa. 149. Shofenat marom v'kadosh shemo. Tumerut tzadikim v'Adonai, yisharim davat tehila, v'yisharim titalav, u'divrei tzadikim titbarach, v'misham chasidim titrama, u'kerev kedoshim tigadash, u'makalot v'rivot, amcha beit Yisrael, v'rinei parashim kamakena b'chol torah. שכתובת כל יצרים לבניך אלוהינו אלוהי אבותינו להודות להלל לשבח ולרומם להדר לברך באל כל עשו כל דברי שירו ותשבחות דוד בן ישי עבדך משיחך ישתבח שמך לאדמתנו היה המלך הגדול והקדוש בשמיים בארץ כי לך נתן אלינו אלוהי אבותינו שירו שבחה לבזמרה עוז וממשלה נצח גדולה וגבורה תהילה ותפארת קדושה ומלכות ברכות והודאות מעתה ועד עולם ברוך אתה אדוני המלך הגדול ותשבחות אל ההודעות הדור נפלאות הבקר בשירי זמרה ולחלקי העולמים יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה יאמר יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ולכל בית ישראל בגלה בזמן קריב יאמרו יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם עולמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי לקודשה ולא מכל ברכתה ושירתה תשבחת ונחמתה דמירן ויאמה ויאמרו אמן. Please rise for the Baruch page 152. Baruchu et Adonai Amevorach Chef, שלום וברית הכל. אין קרקך ואין זולתך, אפס בלתך ומי דומך. אין קרקך ואין זולתך, אפס בלתך ומי דומך. אין קרקך אדוני אלוהינו בעולם הזה, ואין זולתך על מלכים חיי עולם הבא. אפס בלתך גולם ליבון המשיח, אין דומה לך משיח לתחיית המתים. אל אדון על כל המעשים, ברוך ומבורך בפי כל נשמה, כולו וטובו מלא עולם דעת ותבונה סובבים אותו. הנתגאה החיות הקודש וננה בחמה, על המרכבה זכות ומישור לפני חיצו, חסד ורחמים לפני כבודו. טובים מאורו שברא אלוהינו יצרם בדעת בבינה ובשכל, כוח וגבורה נתן בהם להיות מושיעים בקרב תבל. מלאים זימום ומבינים נוגה, נעזים בכל העולם, שמחים בצאתם וששים בבואם, עושים בהם הרצון קונם, פאר בכבוד, נותנים לשפוט כל עברינם, לזכר מלכותו קרא לשמש. ויזרח אור רעה והקים צורה הלבנה, שבח נוגעים בו כל צבא מחרו, תפארת וגדולה, שרפים ואופנים בחיות הקודש, לשושרה בכל המעשים. Barak Tzurenu Malkeinu V'Goaleinu Gorei Kiroshim Nishtabach Shimcha Le'ad Malkeinu. וכולם פותחים את פיהם בקדושה וטהרה, בשירה ובזמרה, מברכים ומשבחים, דברים ומעריצים ומכפישים וממליכים את שם האל המלך, הקדוש ברוך הוא קדוש הוא. וכולם מקבלים עליהם ומלכות שמנזה מזה, ונותנים רשות זה לזה, להקיש רצון רוח, ושכר רב ונעימה, כדי שהכולם כאחד, עונים ואומרים ויראה. קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, בארץ כבודו. ויופעלים וחיות הקודש בראש שלו מנסים, ומצטרפים, למתם ושטחים, ואומרים, ברוך כבוד אדוני במקומו. אור חדש של ציון תאיר, אור חדש של ציון תאיר, ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו, מהרה לאורו. ברוך אתה אדוני יוצר המאורות. אבא רבה אבתנו, אדוני אלוהינו, חמלה גדולה ותורה, חמלת עלינו. אבינו מלכנו, מאור אבותינו, שבתנו בך, אבינו מלכנו. ותלמדנו כחיים, לכן תבוננו למדנו, אמינו אתה ברחמן, רחם רחם עלינו. ותן לבנו להאמין, להאמין ומשכיל לשמוע, ללמוד וללמד, לשמור ולעשות, ולקיים את כל דברי תלמוד תורתך באהבה, והאר פנינו בתורתך, ודבנו במצוותיך, ויחד לבבינו לאהבה וליראת שמך, ולא נבוש לעולם ועד, ולא נבוש לעולם ועד, כי בשם הגדול והנורא בטחנו, נעמילה ונשמחה, נעמילה ונשמחה בישועתך. והביאנו לשלום מארבע כנפות הארץ, ותוליכנו קוממיות לארצנו. כי אל בוא ישועה אתה, ולנו בחרת מכל המלשון, וקרבתנו לשמך הגדול, צלה באמת, להודות לך ולייחך באהבה. ברוך אתה אדוני, הבוחר בבוא ישראל באהבה. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך, ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאור על ידיך, והיו תותחות בין עיניך, ותותחם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך. Continue silently 167 through 169. Lamont, yeah, I'm turning up my microphone pack, not this one, so up now. Better. Lamont Tiskiru, Vasitem et Komitzvotai, Vitem Kiroshim Levechem, Ani, Adonai Levechem, Asher Hotziti Etchem Eretz Mitzrayim, Leot Lachem Elohim, Ani, Adonai Levechem, Emet, Adonai Levechem, Emet. קיים, חיסון, בכל מחלוקתו, ורצ'ו ליד קיים, ודבריו חיים וקיימים. ושתהון לילה ולאבותינו מלכינו מלך אבותינו, ונגמר אבותינו, יוצא נפשו ישועתנו, ונמצאים אליו שמך, אלוהים זולתך, עזרת אבותינו, עתנו מעולם. תהילה היום ברוך ומבורך, כל שברי אשר חנשירה בשמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדב הקודש, נורא תהילו עושה פלא. שירה חדשה שירו גלגולים, לשמך על שפת הים, יחד כולם הודוים לכו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. צור ישראל, קומה בעזרת ישראל, ופדנו מחר יהודה וישראל. גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל. Private Amidah, page 175 through 192. I'm going to repeat the Amidah now back on page 175. I'm moving around just for, give Josh something to do and just in preparation for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Adonai sifatai tiftach uviyati tehilatecha Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor V'Hanora El Elyon Tzadim Tovim V'Konei HaKol V'Zofer Chasdei Avot U'Mevi Govel Libnei Bneihem L'man Shemo B'Ahava Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham U'Fokei Tzara Atah Gibor Le'Lam Adonai Mechayei Metim Atah Rav Le'Hoshia Mechalkel Chayim B'Chesed Mechayei Metim B'Rachamim Rabim Tzomech Noflim B'Rofech Odim U'Matir Asurim U'Mekayem Emunato L'Shenei Afar Michamo Chal Gilurot U'Mito Melach Melech Meimi U'Mechayem U'Matzmiach Yeshua Ne'mat Chayot Meiti Baruch Atah Adonai V'Chayei HaMeiti. Please rise for the Kedusha. Nikadesh et Shimcha Ba'olam Keshem Shebati Shimo Tobish Be'barom Kakatuv Alaya Nevi'echa V'Korah Ze'el Ze Ve'amar Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh Adonai Tzebaot Melech Haaretz Kevodo Azmet Kol Ra'ash Gadol Adir V'Chazak Mashmi'im Kol Minasim Ne'umat Serafim Ne'umatam Baruch Yomeru Baruch Kevod Adonai Mimkom Chamakeinu V'Tivloch Aleinu Ki Mechakim Anavnu Lach Matai Timloch Betzion Bekarov Eber Le'olam V'et Yishkon Titgadal v'titgadash B'toch Yerushalayim Bircha L'dor v'ador U'lenetzach netzachim V'eineinu tirenna Malchutecha Kadavar Ha'amur V'shireinu Zecha Al Yedei David Mashiach Tzidkecha Yimloch Adonai Le'olam Elohim Tzion L'dor v'ador Hallelujah L'dor v'ador Nagid Godlecha U'lenetzach netzachim Kedushat Hanakish V'shivcha Chaleinu Mitinu Le'yavuz Le'olam Va'ed Kib'lakar v'kadosh Atah Baruch Atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. We may be seated. Yismach, Yismach, Yismach Moshe b'matnat, b'matnat, b'matnat Elko Kieven Ne'eman, Ne'eman Aikarat Alo, ay, Yismach, Yismach, Yismach Moshe b'matnat, b'matnat, b'matnat Elko Kieven Ne'eman, Ne'eman Aikarat Alo. Tiferet b'rosho natata b'amdo lefanecha har Sinai ושני דוחות אבנים הוריד בידו וכתוב בהם שמירת שבת וכן כתוב בתורתך ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ונראה בני ישראל אותי לעולם, כי 60 השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. ולא נתתו אלוהינו לגויי ארצות, ולא חנכותו מלכנו לעובדי פסילים, גם חנכותו לא ישכנו ערלים, כי לישראל עמך נתתו באהבה לזרוע יעקב, אשר בם בחרת. מקדשי שפי שבת, כולם יזכו, יתעמרו בטומאך שבת. והשביעי רצית בו וקידשתו שבת, חמדת ימים אותו, קראת זכר מעשה בראשית. אלוהי אבותינו רצי מנוחתנו, קדשנו במצוותיך ותן חלקנו בתורתך. שמחנו בישועתך ותאר ליבנו לעובדך באמת והנחילנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה וברצון שבת קודשך ינוחו בה ישראל מקדשי שמך. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. רצי אדוני אלוהינו בעמך ישראל, וביא תפילתם בהשבת עבודה לדבר ביתך באישי ישראל, ותפילתם באהבה תקבל ברצון, ותהי ברצון תמיד. עבודת ישראל עמך ותחזינה עינינו ושובה לציון ברחמים. ברוך אתה אדוני המחזיר שכינתו לציון ונכנחנו לה. כי לא חלו לחמך, רחם כי לא תמות חסדך, אלם כמינו לך, וכולם יברח בכולם שמך מכן תמיד לעולם ועד, וימדו סלע ולא את שמך באמת, על ישועתנו ועזרתנו סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, הטוב שלך לחנה להודות. אלוהינו ואבותינו, ברכנו בברכה המשולשת בתורה הכתובה על ידי משה עבדך, האמורה מפירות ובניו, קוראים קדושך כאמור. יברכך וישמרך, ירנק לך יתונך, שרק לבדך ושם לך שלום. שים שלום, טובה וברכה, חן וחסד רחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, עמך. ברכנו אבינו כולנו כאחד באור פניך, כי באור פניך נתת לנו אדוני אלוהינו. שים שלום ועולם טובה וברכה, חן וחסד רחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, עמך. תורת חיים באהבת חסד, וצדקה וברכה ורחמים וחיים ושלום. שים שלום ועולם טובה וברכה, חן וחסד רחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, עמך. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל, בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני ברך עמו ישראל בשלום. What 193. Gravi Grashim Baba. Yamani Rakutevim, the Makutev Chayachon, Yamachon Beit Israel. Paglavis Man Karim Emeru. Yeshme Rabba Mevora. Yolam Yalme Almaya Yiva. Rakish Gabafi, Barnamina Sevi, Ravi Levi Lashmin Kucha, and Lami Kubakata Shirata, Katanamata Namiromi Mavimeru, Amen. Soton Voton the Soisha, Kanamavon Divishmai Vimeru, Ishlam Rabin Shamai, and the Koisha Vimeru, Ose Shalom Bimrama, Huya Asi Shalom, Alenia, O Israel, O Yoshvik Devel, Vimeru. All right, let's see. Jerry and Ann, will you please open the ark? And Paul, will you carry the Torah?
Yes.
All right. Page 195. Ein k'mocha Elohim Adonai, ein k'ma'asecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim, u'memshaltecha bechol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimlo le'olam va'ed, Adonai ozeh lo yitein, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. As the ark is open. Vayivin Saron Vayomer Moshe Kuma Adonai Ve'afutzu Oivecha Ve'anusu Misanecha Mipanecha Ki Mitzion Teitzei Torah Ki Mitzion Teitzei Torah Udevar Yerushalayim, Baruch Shenatan, Torah, Torah, Baruch Shenatan, Torah, Torah, Le'amo Yisrael. Be'anarachei, Zvelish Me'adisha, Kadin Yisrael Yirah.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Gadol Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Gadol Shemo. Ki ol bashamayim u'ba'aretz, ki ol bashamayim u'ba'aretz, le'amin naseh le'ol erosh from the boom. Romavu, Adonai Eloheinu, Vehishtachavu, Le'adam Halav Kadoshu, Romavu, Adonai Eloheinu, Vehishtachavu, Le'har Kodosho, Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. All right, we may be seated. And Parshat Nitzavim. And because it's reasonably short, there's no triennial in Nitzavim. You do the whole thing every year. It's on page 1165. It's one of maybe my very favorite parsha. Everybody's gathered, everybody in the community, the rich, the poor, the woodchopper, the water drawer, the men, the women, the children, those who are there today and those who are not with us today, which obligates Jews of the future toward the covenant as well, including people who don't even know they're Jewish yet. So all souls were there at Mount Sinai. It is said the first Aliyah, we know it's on page 1165, but what are the verses in particular? How many? It's not in my...
29:9.
Right, but until... What is the question? So...
9 to 11.
9 to 11. All right, 29, 9 to 11. You got it. And this first part is when they're all gathered, and we call upon David Goodwin, who's the president of the congregation, but he's also a Kohen.
Adonai Elohecha, Koreit Imcha.
taking all that extra stuff. All right, verses 12 through 14. Not with you alone do I make this covenant, but with everyone in the future too. All right, the next one's long, which is probably why Joan's taking it. 15 through 28. Perhaps there's somebody out there saying, well, it doesn't really apply to me, this covenant. Kind of today's equivalent of crossing your fingers, right? You're saying, yeah, I'll observe, but you don't really mean it. Well, then, because of those folks who are ignoring the law, curses will come. Verses 15 through 28.
Adonai Ra'ah, Mihoji Israel, Kefon Alot Habri, Hakutuvah, Besefer HaTorah, Hazeh, Ve'ah, Hadur Ha'acharon, Ve'echem Asher Yakubu, Maya Haretan, Ve'hanofri, Asher Yavo, Ve'eretz Rechoka, Vira'u, Et Lapo, Ha'aretz Ha'hi, Et Ha'alah, Asher Kilad Adonai, Gofri Gamela, Sereka Chalata, Lo Tizara, Lo Tasmia, Lo Ya'aleva, Esa, Hema Hefa, Sedor, Umba Amora, Adnan Sway, Asher Hafat Adonai, Ve'apo, Uvafamato, Ve'amiru Kol HaGoyim, Aleasa Adonai, Ha'ala Haaretz Hazot, Mechori, Ha'ach HaGadol, Hazeh, Ve'amiru, Ahal Asher Azvu, Et Brit Adonai Elo Avota, Asher Karat Imam, Ve'otiotam, Me'eretz Mitzrayim, Vayalchu, Vaya'avdu Elohim Acherim, Vayishtachavu Lahem, Elohim Asher lo yida'u, ve'lo chalak lahem. Vayikarav Adonai la'aretz ha'hi, lehavi, alecha lekol ha'kilala, haketuvah, ba'sefer hazeh. Vayishem Adonai me'al ha'tam, ve'afu chemah, v'chatzah vayashlicheh, el eretz ha'chemet, ha'yom hazeh. Hanisarot l'Adonai Eloheinu, ve'haniglo lanu u'baneinu ad olam, la'asot et kol divrei ha'torah hazot.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher ba'aranu mikol Hashem, natan lanu Torah te'et, v'chayei olam latam tzachenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Now on chapter 30, may the memory be a blessing to you, Hilda. Chapter 31 through 6, after those curses happen, God will restore us to the land, and there we will prosper. All right, so the Feldhammers are sponsoring today's really magical Kiddush. It's pretty exciting, you'll see. Explain later. We call upon Aaron and Ruthie for this next Aliyah.
Yondu, Rutiva, Aaron, Merachelva, Zion, Rafiki,
Baruch atah Adonai
Verses 7 through 10 on page 1170. You'll get all kinds of prosperity since you'll be heeding the law. And we call upon John and Rachel for the next Aliyah.
Okay. Zion Ben. David Diane. Rachel Ban. Aharon Baruchel. Amishi.
Chapter 30, verses 11 through 14. It's sort of one of the Torah's most inspirational quotations. It's that you can do it. You can if you think you can. It's not beyond the heavens, this covenant. It looks like it's way out there. You can't, it's almost impossible to do. But no, it's not. It's not across the sea. It's not beyond the heavens. It's very near. You are capable. Verses 11 through 14, and we call upon Stephen and Elsa for the sixth Aliyah.
Yandu, Aviva, Shlomo, Barachel, the Moshe, the Mordechai, the Sarah, Shishi.
Seventh Aliyah. Heaven and earth are the witnesses, because after all, this is a covenant. This is not just a, nice words. It's a contract, basically, based on the Hittite suzerainty treaties between vassals and states. And then God says, so choose life in order that you will live. And Midrash depicts it as a mountain, God holding Mount Sinai above the people, saying, you want this covenant or not? And, is it a choice? Anyway, that's it, verses 15 through 20. It looks like Elizabeth Sims will be doing the Torah.
Ya'amad Arakan Binyamin Shadihi.
Baruch Adonai HaMorah.
Baruch Adonai HaMorah.
Baruch Adonai HaMorah L'olam Moed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam. Asher b'charbonu mikol ha'amin v'notan lanu et Toroto. Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
All right, we rise Shabbat Kaddish.
Yishkadal, Yishkadal, Shemerava, Mandra, Kirtev, Yamit, Pampete,
All right, we're going to now just repeat those last few verses as Susan recites them up here.
Kahamad, Sarabat Yisrael, Berabat, Yamafir.
Right, you're still reading the Torah. Susan's got the Aliyah. Inclusive, Mishabach for all who read. Mishabach Hakim Abraham Tzafra Kos, or Kral Havalei Berech, and Proker Masher Aloha, Hayom, Ifram Kol Ifram Travel, for Shabbat. Akash Baruch Hu Yirech Otam, Mishpach Otam, Vaytzach Rabat Tzchav, Oma Seidem Kol Shechem, V'Omar. Amen. And for those who are ill, we're thinking especially today of Scott Lawrence, Dahlia Van Razel, Barbara Rose, Ilya Oak, Karina Gold, Hadavi Hudud Tzvi, Leah Hudit Batshina, Shokta Dopin, Shimon Moshe, Ray Rancho, Rosie Gurman, Yechiel Ben Eliza, Shulamit Bat Leah, Maria Gottschalk, Lisa Bat Rob, Raphael Esther, Moshe Ben Ruvain, Aaron McCann, Trisha Villa Puente Rose, Rachel Shulamit Bat Yehudi, Leroy Muzzy, Rachel Bat Esther Fruma, Yitzhak Ben Etan Basara, Mary Beth Shue Brower, Guru Rivka Bat Shmuel Nicola, Yoni Yosef Ben Shmuel, Eliana Bat Gila Bedon, Yoshua Ben Malka Tova, Bluma Bat Essie Baruvain. I have some fairly sad news to share with you, which is that Misha Nudler is on hospice, and I got to see her yesterday, and apparently, I mean, it could be days, or it could be days, might be weeks, but it could be days. She's not really taking visitors. She does not want, even though we don't care, she cares how she's perceived. And she also, in her way, she doesn't want anyone to come to the go to trouble to see her, even though it's, we all enjoy the mitzvah. But for yesterday, she was very interested in seeing her family and just a few people. She didn't really want to see me for the last several months until she was ready to actually leave this earth. And so I got to spend some time with her yesterday. And even though, she's in hospice, she's 100% coherent, right? How's your mom? How's Karen? How's Micah? How's Jonah? I've lived a good life. The shul is my favorite place. I love the children. I mean, it's heartbreaking, but it's we who have to let her go, right? It's not. She's come to peace with it. It's just hard for us who view someone like her as nearly immortal, right? And all that she survived, and her attitude, and just really one of the most incredible. I would guess that if you know her, just about every one of you would say she's probably one of the most incredible people you've ever met in your life, maybe the most. And anyway, I just want to share that news with you. She says, don't pray for her to get better, actually. So, anyway, if you have any other names, please go ahead and say them out loud at this time. Yishaberach Avoteinu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Yivarech v'Rachel et Acholim Elna Refana Elna Refana Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Yivarech v'Rachel et Acholim. May God bless and heal all those who are sick. Now, some of you will not be happy with this ritual decision that I'm making. We're not going to lift the Torah today. It's too unbalanced and too heavy, and lifting it may rip it. And so I really do not want us to do a full Haggadah. So we'll still rise as it's, you can open it up, I guess. Please don't. And I know people are capable, but it's just, it's not safe. So, Vezot Torah Asher Sa Moshe Lifnei Bnei Yisrael Al Pi Adonai B'Yad Moshe Eitz Bayim Hi L'Machazikim Ba'avetom Ve'Al Mevushar Eitz Bayim Hi L'Machazikim Ba'avetom Ve'Al Mevushar Derachel fix it later.
Later, okay.
We'll go without the breastplate for now. All right, now we may be seated, and the Haftarah is found on page 1180, 1100. Is that right? Okay. I want to make sure that we have the right. It gets confusing around this time of the year, but yeah, looks like that is it. 1180, Isaiah 61. And it's more of the, it's the last of the Haftarah of consolation, so it's more of the, it'll be okay, people, you're going to get back to the land. It's beautiful, a little more violent than the other ones. A couple very famous lines. For the sake of Zion, I will not be silent, which is often quoted for people talking about defending Israel. And then there's the Solu Solu, clear the road for the people, build up a highway back to the land, or back to hope. All right, that's it.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nebiyim tovim v'ratzav v'dibreihem hanemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai abocher b'torah u'b'moshe avdo u'b'Yisrael amo u'b'nebiyei ha'emet v'tzedek. So sa'asis Adonai kagel nafshi b'Elohai ki ilbishani b'nei yesham me'il tzedakah atani kechatan yichahen be'er v'chakala tadech elaham ki cha'aretz totzi tzimcha ufkana zerueha tatzmiach kein Adonai Elohim yatzmiach tzaka utila neged kol hagoyim l'ma'an Tzion lo echasher u'lema'an Yerushalayim lo eshkod. I did say Chanoga Tzika Vishuata Kelapip Ar Ra'u Goyim Tzidkef V'chom Malachim Kevodef V'kora Lach Shem Chadash Asher Pi Adonai Yikovenu V'hayit Ateret Tiferet Adonai Utzivnucha B'chaf Elohei Lo Yamer Lachod Azura Lo Yartzef Lo Yamer Od Shemama Ki Lach Yikareh Chefsiva Lo Yartzef Ula ki chafetz Adonai bach ve'artzech tibael ki val bachor betula yivaluch banaich umsos chatan al kala yasis alayich Elohayich al chomotayich Yerushalayim Yifkadati Shomerim Kol Hayom V'chol Halayla Tamid Lo Yechashu Hamaskirim Et Adonai Al Domi Lachem V'al Titnu Domi Lo Ad Yichonei V'ad Yasim Et Yerushalayim Tehillah ba'aretz nishba Adonai so im eten et ganechon ma'achal le'oyvayich ve'im yishtu b'nei nechar tiroshet asher yaga'at bo ki me'asfav yochlu ve'hilu et Adonai kabitzav yishtu b'chatzrot kodeshi ivru b'sharim hanu derech ha'am solu hamsila sakalu me'evet harimu nes al hamayim hinei Adonai Ishmiya et kitzei haaretz imru levatzion hinei yishef pa hinei secharo ito uvulato lefanav vekaru lachem am hakodesh kulei Adonai velach yikarei derusha Ir ne'ezava mizeh ba'me'edom Hamut begadim mibotzra Zeh hador bilbusha Zo'evero kocho Ani medaber b'tzedaka Rav lehoshia Madua adom lilbushecha ugadecha kedorech bekad Hora darachti levadi umeamim im ishiti ve'edrechem be'api ve'ermesem b'chamati ve'yez nitzcham al begadai v'chol mabushai eg alti ki yom nakab libi ushnat gedulai ba'a ve'apid ve'ein ozer ve'eshtomem ve'ein somech v'toshali zroi v'chamati Yitzmachati ve'avuz amim ve'api ve'ashakrim v'chamati ve'orid la'aretz nitzcham Chazdei Adonai azkir tehilot Adonai ke'al kol asher gema'alanu Adonai V'rav tuv levei Yisrael asher gemalam kerachamav uchrov chasadav vayomer ach ani ami hema banim lo yishakeru vayilahem leMoshiach v'chol tzaratam lo tzar umalach panav Hoshiach v'yahavato u'chemlato ke'alam v'nat leim v'nat s'em kol yemei olam Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam tzor kol ha'olamim tzadik b'chol hadorot ha'el ha'ne'eman omer v'yosef המדבר ומקיים שכל דבריו אמת וצדק
Bible, page 224, Prayer for the State of Israel. Rav that is in heaven, Rock of Israel and its Redeemer, bless the state of Israel, the first flower of our redemption. Shield her with the wings of your loving kindness. Spread over her the shelter of your peace. Send your light and your truth to her heads of state, her ministers and her advisors. Restore them with good counsel before you. Strengthen the hands of those who spend your holy land. Bequeath to them our God's salvation. Adorn them with a crown of triumph and grant peace in the land and eternal joy to its inhabitants. Let us say, Amen. We do not do the prayer for the new month because you're just supposed to know when Tishrei is. Or Ashrei, page 231. We'll have this side start and this side respond. Ashrei Yoshvei Beitecha.
Return of the sacred Torah to the ark. Once again, ark openers, Torah carry. As Tamar, Brian is going to lead us in these more. Hallelujah, Shem Adonai, Kizkav, Shem Odevato, Odom Aleret, Shamayim, Vayom, Tehillah, Hallelujah, hallelujah. Adonai Meneli, Adonai Kavod, Adonai Kavod Shema, Adonai Beharat Kodesh. Yafil Adonai Mibadesh, Yomar. Ki lechato natzati lachem torati al tazomu. Eis ma'yini lemachazikima betom heva berushar. We may be seated. So I've been doing a fair amount of thinking about anti-Semitism over the last few weeks, starting with the Ken Burns documentary. Raise your hand if you've watched any of it yet. Okay. Raise your hand if you generally give it a thumbs up. Okay. Anybody give it a thumbs down? So like most Ken Burns productions, it's, really thorough, really detailed. So sometimes it's the Holocaust, it's really difficult to watch. There's a certain amount of controversy over whether FDR is portrayed too sympathetically, considering some of the things he did or rather didn't do for Jews during the Holocaust. But anyway, that's for critics and others to decide. I've also been thinking about it because of Misha, who I was just talking about, and her incredible tale of survival and leaving this earth not too long from now. And also, because there's a particular comment by the commentator Abravanel on this week's Torah portion on Nitzavim, particularly on the Jews who are saying, this thing doesn't apply to me, right? I'm crossing my fingers, so to speak. And Abravanel is writing during the Spanish Inquisition, or almost the Spanish Inquisition. It's starting, things are going poorly for them in Spain. This is what he says. Many of our brethren have forsaken the religion of their forefathers as a result of persecution and wish to be like the nations of the world, thinking that thereby they would remove from them the duty of keeping the Torah and would prosper in their works just like the other nations and would no longer belong to the body of their people. But though they and their descendants would do all in their power to assimilate, they would not succeed. They would still be called Jews against their own will, and we'd be accused of Judaizing in secret and be burnt at the stake for it. Very true words, very similar to the Holocaust. You can't get out of it, right? And I know some people's grandparents used to say, when the Nazis come, right, it doesn't matter what you believe, what you think, who you are. So this week, or the last 2 weeks in anti-Semitism, saw a whole bunch of things. It saw the traditional right-wing kinds of anti-Semitism fairly locally. You had anti-Semitic flyers in Nevada dropped on people's doorsteps. You had swastikas on a golf course in Sacramento. I'm definitely scared of those things. But we had some more, I wouldn't necessarily call them nuanced. They're just straight up anti-Semitism, but they're just a little different than, vandalism and Mad Men flyers. First of all, you had the Oakland mayoral candidate who talked about how Jews are evil. They would control the media, we rigged the election last time against him as well. That was disturbing enough. But a much more subtle disturbing thing I felt happened at the mayoral forum that I actually went to. There were only 3 candidates there, right? It was Sheng Tao and Lauren Taylor and Trevor Reed. And they were asked a very specific question by our own member, Derek Pincus, about Oakland, about Israel, boycotting Israel and the ships that come into, the port ships, the Zinn Israeli-owned shipping company. What do you think of that? And all three answered the question without mentioning Israel, boycott, or Palestinians. Okay, so I find that deeply disturbing, not because of their views, but because they've obviously been told by their handlers, you cannot be quoted talking about Israel or using the word boycott. I find that really disturbing. I just do. I think that is a fairly dangerous harbinger of anti-Semitism. Secondly, Sabra the Marvel comic superhero. Anybody heard of this? Okay, so Sabra is a Marvel character, pretty obscure. I'm not a comic expert at all. I really know nothing about comics, but I think in the 70s or very early 80s, she was a comic hero, and she's going to be in the next movie, and it's going to be played by Shira Haas, who you know from either Shtisel or Unorthodox. She's the diminutive, excellent actress. And people are scared. There's going to be an Israeli character, and what are people going to say about the? I saw some people say, "Oh, how exciting! There's going to be an Israeli character." Other Jews thinking, what are they? This is going to make us look bad, and it's going to, who knows what people are going to say? It'll start all kinds of horrible things and tweets and Instagram comments, etc. But what I found especially interesting was the New York Times, their headline on this: with an Israeli superhero, Marvel weighs into an intractable conflict. They're not wrong, but a couple years ago, when the first Muslim superhero, I know Israel is not the same as Jew, and Muslim is not the same as Palestinian, but still, what was the headline when Ms. Marvel, who was the Muslim character, was? Mighty, Muslim, and leaping off the page. Okay, that says something, and I don't think it says something good. So Marvel weighs into an intractable conflict versus mighty, Muslim, and leaping off the page. Finally, University of Vermont. Anybody applying there? So there's now been a complaint filed with the Department of Education's Office of Civil Rights. And it takes a lot in order to make a case, there's got to be a lot going on. This is basically what has happened at the University of Vermont. A group called UVM Empowering Survivors, which is like a Shalom Bayit for University of Vermont, talking about women, in particular sexual assault victims, set up to support sexual assault victims. In its Instagram account, which has thousands of followers, they announced that all Zionist students would be blocked. And then, because Israelis put so many Palestinians through disgusting sexual abuse. That's what it says. And so there were many of the Jewish students actually had to drop out from the group. Second thing that happened was there was a TA who threatened to lower all Zionist grades. I get the indelible surge to cyberbully Zionist students, he wrote on his Instagram account, and a serotonin rush of bullying Zionists on the public domain. And anyway, see, he did have some sort of discipline, but was not, wasn't expelled or anything like that. And then finally, there was a Hillel dorm. The Hillel at University of Vermont has a dorm attached to it where many of the Jewish students lived, and there was about a 30-hour session of students pelting the dorm with rocks and asking entering students if they were Jewish. Now, the president's response was less than adequate. It's possible that this is only one side of the story, of course, right? Claimed that it was just a couple of students trying to get the attention of somebody at a window. I mean, it's possible.
30 hours?
30 minutes. 30 minutes. No, sorry, 30 minutes. 30 minutes, not 30 hours. Bad. 30 minutes. 30 minutes that they And he said that they threatened that the TA was disciplined, and that the UVM Empowering Survivors doesn't get university funding, even though it's a student group, so there's nothing they can do about it. And Jews love it here. We've never had an anti-Semitism problem. People choose it because it's an excellent school for Jews to go to. The faculty loves it here. Didn't say, you could even deny all that and still say, we've got a problem and we need to do a better job of making the Jewish students feel comfortable. No, that wasn't part of it. So it's not good. And again, it's only one side of the story, but I find it unlikely that unless the charges had at least a significant amount of truth to them, that they would bring them as high up, and even that the Department of Education Office of Civil Rights would even take the case, because there's all kinds of anti-Semitic stuff on all kinds of campuses, but rarely are they taken up to that level. Anyway, I could do this, by the way, any week. Really. It's just that we've had bar mitzvahs and things like that, and I found these especially interesting. Not in a good way, obviously, but I found them especially interesting. And I still go back to Abravanel on this parsha. And I've known about his quotation for a long time. When I read this commentary, which I read in, for those who know, Nahama Leibowitz's essays on the parsha, I was always struck by that. Right? You can try, you can assimilate, you can check your religious credentials, your Zionist credentials, whatever, at the door, but it's not going to get you very far. It's not going to solve the problem of the way people feel about Jews. And I know there are other ways to look at this, but this is certainly how I look at it. And I feel obligated to bring it to our attention again. So that's, with that, Shana Tova, Shabbat Shalom. Yeah, okay, fair point. Okay, yeah. Interesting, yeah. So I gotta come up with some.
Superhero.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go back to that. We've got a new superhero. His name is Sabra.
She's mighty and leaping off the page.
She is mighty and she's little but powerful. Shira Haas. Who doesn't like Shira Haas? And she's an excellent representative, actually. I mean, we love her. So, all right, that's where we'll go. I will not be talking about anti-Semitism at all on Rosh Hashanah. But who knows? Yom Kippur. But and obviously, I haven't thought about what I'm talking about on Yom Kippur, right? So, yeah. You know me better. Okay. They've been written since June, with adjustments. All right. It is Musaf time. We're going to rise. It's page 239, and Aviv Berlin is going to lead us in Musaf from over here. And I was spontaneous. She was not assigned to read this, to lead this before. I just asked her in the middle services, so she didn't get to bring her marked up book or practice or anything, but she was willing. Amen.
Baruch atah Magen Avraham V'chokei Sarah Atah Gibor Elohai Mechayim Eitim Atah Moshiach Mechakei Achayim B'chesed Mechayim Eitim B'rachamim Abim Somech Noflim V'rofech Olim Umatir Asurim Umekayim Emunato Lishenei Afar Michabo Chava B'urot Umiko Melech Melech Levi Umekayim Umatzliach Yeshua Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh ha'reitim Yitzchak enakti yishchak Esod tziyach Sarfei kodesh Amakti shim ha'kodesh Lekatu b'yachah V'karah Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzevaot, Haaretz Te'odot. Baruch Adonai Mikamo, U'yifem berachamim, Yacham Yachadim Shelo, Erev Avoder, Bechol Yom Tani, Amayim V'Yahva Shema Omrim, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hu Eloheinu, Hu Avinu, Hu Malkeinu, Hu Mashiach, Ve'hu Yashmienu Merachamav, Shem Yenei Kol Chai, Shem Yenei Ani Adonai Eloheihem, Yimloch Adonai Le'olam, Elohai Yitzion, L'dor Vador, Hallelujah. L'dor Vador, L'dor Vador, L'dor Vador, Nagid Lecha. L'dor Vador, L'dor Vador, L'dor Vador, Nagid Lecha. U'netzach netzachim, u'netzach netzachim, Kishatecha nagid. V'shifach Eloheinu, V'hipinu lo yamus, V'yoram le'olam v'amen. Kadosh, 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 Kadosh atah, Ki Eloheinu Kadosh, 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 Kadosh atah. Amen. We continue on our own, pages 247 through 258.
Stay up for Elenu. Come on out for Ein Eloheinu. Ein Eloheinu, Ein Adonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mi Eloheinu, Mi Adonenu, Mi Kemalkeinu, Mi Kemoshienu, Yod Eloheinu. Malkeinu, Baruch Moshiach, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshiach, Atahu Shekiru, Avoteinu, please rise for the Elenu. Atahu Makol, take you on. Relatives and friends whose yahrzeit we observe during the coming week, thinking especially today of Abraham Bauer, Avram Berkovich, Norma Berkovich, Abraham Breslov, George Ruder, Arlene Davis, Abraham Elkin, Mary Gilday, Ruth Glazer, Henry Glasser, Ida Gold, Merle Goldstone, Isidore Gottlieb, Ben Horwitz, Lillian Simon Jacober, William Kestenblatt, Jack Cobell, Gertrude Kreimerman, Nathan Kurtz, Regina Lazar, Jacob Leeson, Eli Levis, Joyce Levitch, Joseph Markovitz, Nuta Oak, Eileen Pachevsky, Carolyn Rao, Albert Reingold, Henry Rosenberg, Bertha Rothman, Ilse Saunders, Wilhelmine Saunders, Joseph Schwartz, Fanny Silverman, Lillian Silverman, Sidney Tuckman, Pearl Weiner, Samuel Weiss, Benjamin Wolf. The memories of all who are with us, we ask all those who are in mourning or observing Yortzeit, as well as anyone else who would choose to do so, to rise for the mourner's Kaddish at this time. Page 267. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Yalmad Yivrach Yerutei, Yamlit Malchutei, V'chayechon Yomechon, V'chayechon Beit Yisrael, V'galav Yizman Karim V'imru.
Amen.
Yehi Shemei Rabbah Mevorach, Le'olam Le'omaya, Yitbarach V'yishtabach, Yitba'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shmei Kudsha V'rehu, La'ela Min Birchata V'shirata, Tushbechata V'nechemata, Kamiran V'yamah V'yibru.
Amen.
Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'yimru.
Amen.
Oseh Shalom B'mama, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'yimru. Amen. Zichronam Livracha. May the memory of the people you've come to say Kaddish for be a blessing to you always. And let us say, Amen. And we call upon the President of the congregation, David Goodwin, for announcements. And we're also testing to see his voice on the microphone as he gets ready for his annual President's Address.
Well, Shabbat Shalom. Okay. So from your response, it sounds like I can be heard. Now I actually have to write something. Thank you very much to Lisa Strauss for ushering, and to Josh Mailman for arranging for the streaming, and to the rabbi, and to Aviv Berliner for leading services. For the Torah readers, Heather Kellogg, Laura Gabrielle, Joan Corinne, Elizabeth Sims, and Susan Simon for the Haftarah. And as she was reading the Haftarah, I remembered that many years ago when I went to university in England, on my finals, which in those days, and possibly even today in England, lasted 7 days. You didn't take finals every quarter, you took them at the end. And one of my questions was that Haftarah. This brought back terror of not knowing the answer. So after services, the rabbi will lead the Motzi and Kiddush from here, and we'll have a Kiddush lunch sponsored by John Feldenhammer and Rachel Kupperman and catered by Jane Pizer. And of course, I think probably everyone who is here will be here for services tomorrow evening at 6:15 for Erev Rosh Hashanah, and for Rosh Hashanah first day and second day at 9:30. Shana Tova, Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, David. Once again, thank you to our Torah readers. Thank you, Josh, for streaming. Thank you, Alyssa, for reading. Today's Kiddush, most important announcement is I want you to take not only your book, but any book you see that's not in the back half, it isn't a Maksar, so any Chumash, any Siddur, and bring them and put them on those tables in the back. So that's a lot of books, not that many people, but it'll be very helpful. The other thing is today's Kiddush lunch is very unique, which I guess you're not supposed to say. It's either unique or it's not. But it's called Siman Rosh Hashanah. It means the symbols of Rosh Hashanah. It's a mostly Sephardic tradition. There are a bunch of different foods, up to 10 I've seen at different times, where they each symbolizing something for the new year, like something with a lot of seeds, like pomegranates or green beans, symbolizes a fruitful year. We're not eating fish heads, but that's definitely one of the customs, because you want to be the head, not the tail. And there's a bunch of other ones. But anyway, so there's a lot of these symbolic foods that you get to eat. Very cool stuff. So, and I think this will just ring a bell with a couple of you. The first time I ever experienced this was at the house of Sarah Scheiblau, who used to do her family was from Turkey, some our Jews from Turkey. All right, Odolam, page 269. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Le'nasa B'hefzo Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Ve'acharei Ikmod Kach
yimlo nora, vehu haya, vehu ofer, vehu yiyeh v'tifara, vehu echad, ve'en sheni, laham shilo, lehachbira, ve'lin reshit, ve'lin tachlit, ve'lo ha'ol, ve'am yisra, ve'hu eli, ve'chai korali, ve'tzor kavli, ve'et zara, ve'hu nisi, umanos li, ve'nat kosi, ve'yo ve'kra, ve'yahado, hakim ruhi, ve'ekishan, ve'amira, ve'im ruhi, geviati, Adonai li, ve'lohira. Shabbat Shalom, please rise, Veshamru, B'nai Yisrael, et Hashabat, Latzot, et Hashabat, Ledorot Ameri Olam, V'ni B'nai Yisrael oti le'olam oti le'olam, Veshamru, B'nai Yisrael, et Hashabat, Latzot, et Hashabat, Ledorot Ameri Olam, Kishesh Masar Na'er Shemayim, Ve'et Haaretz V'Shamru, B'nai Yisrael, Hashabat, La'asot et Hashabat, Ledorot Ameri Olam. U'yamash Shabbat Be'nafah Shabbat, Ma'in Nafash, V'Shamru, B'nai Yisrael, et Hashabat, La'asot et Hashabat, Ledorot Ameri Olam. Ken Rekhatem Yom Shabbat Shehu Savri. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Borei B'rei Gafen. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Hamotzi Lechem Min Haaretz. All right, but say Amen.